get ready. We're going to talk to Will. No pronouns given, calling in from the UK, who says if God isn't real, nothing is. Will, you're on the Atheist Experience with Forrest and Jim. How you doing today?
Wow, that was a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Never had a bad day.
Hello? Oh, sorry. I can hear you now. I didn't hear you at that moment. Was you responding to me, yeah?
Yeah. Never had a bad day. Ready to talk to you. What's going on?
Never had a bad day. That's great. Well, I rang up with a claim that either God is real or nothing else is. And I was wondering if you want to discuss that.
Sure. And I'm curious to know, it says you're calling in as an agnostic. So if you believe God is certainly real, then that would make you a theist, I would suppose.
No. A Gnostic, not agnostic. Gnostic. I said the best way to define me is a Gnostic. It's not
okay. There must have been a misunderstanding. Okay, so you are a Gnostic theist, so you know that God is for sure real.
Yeah, I don't like the word theist, to be honest, but if you want to call me that, that's great. I don't.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding. That's totally fine. All right, sweet. Will, tell us how you came to this conclusion. Like, why does this make sense to you? Oh, also, I'm so sorry. Before you start, also, please tell me which God we're talking about. Which God do you believe in? And then how do you know it's real?
To be honest, both those questions I can answer at the same time, which was I listened to everybody chat about God and debate it, but then I came to a conclusion that I saw something that everybody was defining the word God, but like nobody was actually giving an objective definition of it. So I just started working on, is there an objective definition of God? And I think I found it. So just wondering if you want to hear it.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk.
When that would be what?
Well, to me, I define God. Oh, sorry. To me, I define God as that which has authority of all things, just as a definition for the word. And then I went along to find out if there was something in reality that existed that met that definition. And if it did, I was going to award it the title of God and serve it and worship it above all other things, because something has authority of all other things and it should be worshipped upon.
Okay.
Why should anything be worshipped?
Well, it would depend what we mean by worship, doesn't it? If I just say worship is something you place above yourself and everything else, as in like an ultimate authority or standard of truth you work towards, or whatever you want to see it as, then really you're worshiping it, aren't you? Because you're taking its word over yours. Whatever it says.
Is that how you define it?
Well, not really. I'm just that's the way I'm using the word worship, I suppose, because that's what it means to me. Because if I worship something, then what it says goes. That's what I mean by worship. I don't really mean like, bowing. I don't really understand it like that. I suppose how I'm saying it. So really, if I go back to it, all I'm saying is before I can go and prove this thing exists, I first need to know, is it logical for me to claim that God is that which has authority of all things? Does that definition, is it okay with you guys? Do you think that's a suitable definition for us to discuss as God?
Well, I mean, it's really close to the dictionary definition, which is that's worship. Let me go back to God. The creator and ruler of the universe, source of all moral authority, the supreme being. So you don't have a new or unique definition of God. And as definitions go, fine. How do you know that God created the universe? How do you know he rules the universe? And what do you mean by source of all moral authority?
I didn't claim any of that. All I claimed was God was that which has authority of all things. You claimed all that, not me. I did.
That's fine. That's fine. How do you know that? How do you know that?
No. I don't know anything. I'm just giving you a definition of the word God so we can discuss it. Are you accept what I'm?
I can give you all kinds of definitions for words that don't exist in reality. So what?
Yeah, but I'm giving you for me.
I'm willing to operate this conversation with the definition, something which has authority over all things. That's fine. It's difficult for us to define something that we don't think is real. So like, I'm willing to work with that definition. The definition of worship, I just wrote down like something you put above all else and like defer to in terms of like authority, which is kind of reflective of the definition of God that you gave. So I've got those things written down. Considering those, now what is this thing which has such authority over all things? And then I have further questions about like what that implies.
Okay, what I've discovered has that in reality, so I can say that there is something that has authority of all things, therefore deserving of what I claim to be God, I can point to. But again, I'm very sorry. It's just maybe it's the accent. I need to be clear here. Are you guys accepting that my definition of God, that which has the authority of all things, is suitable for me to continue and prove it exists? You accept, and if I can prove that,
suitable for the conversation. Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, all I have to do is say, in reality, does something exist that has authority of all things? And so I decided, yeah, I'll check this out. And then I realized, what to me first, personally, what would I say that was to me? What to me has authority over everything the way I say subjectively, before I went objectively? And I finally came to the conclusion that, well, truth does. Truth has authority of all things. Nothing supersedes it for me. Without there, nothing would, and I mean the true essence of what truth is, that which relates to what is real. And then I started asking everybody else. I haven't really finished, but I haven't finished entirely, so you're only going to be, I need to complete this for you to understand it.
Yeah, but we need to go back to something you said that makes absolutely no sense. And so it kind of makes everything you say after it no sense. What do you mean by the true essence of truth? I mean, truth is either true or it's not. How does it have a true essence? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm sorry. If I finish my thought, then you can ask questions about it, not halfway through. Because if you allow me to finish, it might answer that question for you. Is that possible?
Well, I don't understand why you'd continue to go on making no sense when we're stopping you at a point where you make no sense to us, and everything you say after that is not going to make any sense.
If you allow,
right? But continue. If you have to continue your thought before we come back to this thing of a true essence of truth, which makes absolutely no sense. Go ahead.
What do you mean by it makes no sense? Sorry, I don't get what you mean. Truth doesn't make sense.
The phrase, the true essence of truth, makes no sense. A thing is either true
truth,
or it's not.
Really truth, and then there's truth, which is that. Oh, sorry. But yeah, that's what I mean. That's what the true essence of truth is. But some people don't see truth like that, do they? They see truth as their truth or something like that. I'm not talking about them truth. So that.
Then why not just say truth? Why get into the gobbledygook?
It sounds like you're saying like objective reality is the phrase you're using. You're using more poetic language to say objective reality. Is that fair?
All right. What I'm saying is that which you would call objectively true. The truth. Why I say it is because some people, when I've said it before, other people haven't understood what I meant. So I apologize if to you there was no need. So maybe I was just
it's okay.
Being ignorant to you and telling.
It's okay. We get it. So what's the rest?
Okay. So what I'd say is to you is there something you guys can think of or prove that exists that is has more authority than truth?
Hold on a second. I'm just taking
truth doesn't have authority here. I mean, something is either true, i.e. comports with reality, or not. I don't know why you would say it has authority though, right?
Oh, what I mean by authority is sort of like the right to govern. So does truth have the right to govern over all things? Is all things governed by truth?
That makes you're still not making any sense why that would even be the case. When 1 + 1 = 2 is true, why would that have authority over anything other than, why would it have authority over anything?
You change, and I just changed the word authority because you had difficulty with it to govern. So can we agree that? Why would truth govern over all things?
Same question, just change govern for authority. Why would 1 + 1 = 2 govern anything?
Okay, it's semantics. I'm autistic. I'm trying to relate to you. I've changed my answer so to line with you so you understand. What I'm saying is truth governs over all things. Is that correct or not?
I don't understand it.
Is it true or not?
I'm fine with this. So I'm trying to like meet your rhetorical goal here. Like I'm trying not to get too hung up on the semantics.
I need to answer the question. Don't change it. Just answer the question as it is. Does truth govern over all things? Don't change it. Just that question. Don't.
Okay.
1 + 1. I'm asking one. I'm saying, does truth govern over all things? Yes or no? I don't know if it's another answer to that.
My answer is it's nonsensical.
Yeah, Will, I was trying to like reformulate the question to try to understand where you're coming from. If you're saying don't change anything, just answer the question as it is, then the answer is I don't think so. No, because the way you phrased it doesn't make any sense to me. I was trying to meet you where you are, and you didn't want me to do that. So, I suppose not.
I understand. I understand. Yeah, there's a delay, guys. I do apologize, and sometimes it's a little confusing. My apologies. So. To you, there is no one truth standard that governs over all things. Therefore, what does truth mean?
So the hang up the hang up for me, and I'm trying to like meet your rhetorical goal here. I'm trying to get to where you are, is like I have an issue with the word govern in this case. And it sounds like Jim also does, because the way that you're framing this, the way that you're setting up this question sounds like there is this thing called truth, and that thing like actually like makes edicts and dictates and has this top-down control over reality, rather than the way that we're seeing it, which is just that reality is what reality is. There is an objective reality out there, and that does exist. And we can appeal to that when we're trying to learn things, but it's not making any demands of anything. It just exists. And that's if you say it governs things or has authority over it or anything like that, you're giving it an action verb. And I don't understand that concept. That doesn't make sense to me. If the idea that you're trying to present here is that there is an objective reality, period, then yes, I agree with that. And if you're trying to say that like our pursuit should be to understand that objective reality and to find truth as best we can, of course I agree with that. But to say that truth is doing something or exerting some authority over something, it's like saying, what does the color blue want? I don't know what that means. It doesn't make any sense.
No. Okay, that is your claim. Prove it. Because I don't believe that. I disagree with you. That's not true. I've just written into Google and it says, no, that's not what govern means. They're asserting something that you are not asserting. I'm not asserting govern means anything.
Governs definition.
Fine.
Hold up. Governs definition is conduct the policy, actions, and affairs of a state, organization, or people. So I don't know what you just typed into Google, but that is not the definition of govern, which is why we're having a problem with you saying that truth governs anything.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, can I define how I'm using the word govern, please? And not you define.
I mean, if you'd like.
I'm the one injecting it. To govern means to exercise, control, influence, or determine over something's existence, operation, or behavior.
Right. Exercise control would be an action. It would be to exercise control would be an action. It would be a deliberate action taken with intention.
I'm sorry. So could you say that? I want to listen to what you said. I'm trying to break it down what you just said. Could you repeat it, sorry?
The definition you just gave of govern, meaning to exercise control over something, which I am paraphrasing, right? That to exercise control over something, that is an action which is taken with intention. That's our hang up, is that you're saying that objective reality, objective truth, objective reality has an intention and is performing actions, and I don't agree with that. We're just hung up on this one word. If you can move on to the point, maybe we can find some middle ground. But if it's just this word, we're not going to go anywhere.
I hear you now, and I get what you're saying. So you could help me, because maybe I'm just getting the word incorrect because of the autism. I'm just going to ask you then, because I can relate it to something, and you guys can help me. What word am I mistaken for? What does gravity exercise control over us through its force?
No.
Okay,
so you're confused.
Then the word. Yeah, then govern is not what I mean. Now, stop. I'm asking you to help me. That's now you helping us to specific. I know what I'm saying. That right. Then govern is not what I mean. Then I'll say a different sentence. See if you see. By authority, I mean the power principle that ultimately governs. That is, determines or constrains what is, what can be, and what is true. That which we measure all things we claim to be true towards to tell if it's true or not. The one true standard principle that we measure all truth towards. Otherwise, how can truth be a thing? So either God is real or nothing is, because you measure everything true to that which I'm calling God. Everything you measure.
How do you know? So the way we measure truth is how well does it describe reality as adjudicated. Well, for me, it's how well something describes reality as adjudicated by predictive power.
Why is that?
So truth is a description of reality. It is not reality. It is the map of reality. And I think you're confusing the map for the territory.
I think truth is the abstract version of reality, because for truth to be true, reality and truth can't be two different things, right? Truth is just the abstract thing that us humans say what reality is. But we're still measuring to one standard principle that governs all things, which aligns with the definition I claim to be God. So what I'm saying is,
what is that standard principle?
Because everything, if something isn't true, does it matter to you?
Yes.
Yes.
So if something is not true, it matters. Why does something that isn't true matter to you? Why does it have any relevance?
Because bad information leads to bad decisions.
Yeah. Literally right now, we are living in the United States, which is governed by, can't be political on the show. We have a lot of people who believe not true things like the Bible, who run our country and make horrible decisions that hurt a lot of people because of their belief in not true things. So whether or not something is true doesn't matter as far as whether or not it can have an impact on the world because of people's beliefs and their decisions about it. If I have an untrue belief that drinking rat poison is going to make me healthier, that's not true, but it does matter, and I do care about it. I need to know what's going to happen if I, so yes, of course, not true things matter. I feel like we're getting so far away from the point you're trying to make, which is that God is truth. God is this thing that has authority over everything because God is, in your mind, synonymous with objective reality. And therefore, if God isn't real, nothing's real, which means if objective reality isn't real, then definitionally nothing is real, because when we talk about things existing, we're talking about objective reality. That doesn't make any sense, because again, you are prescribing authority and characteristics and personality to reality, and then saying it's doing a thing, and then saying, well, of course it exists, so it exists. And that makes no sense to me. And Will doesn't give a shit because he just hung up. So like, what was that, 15 minutes? And we try to learn what the word truth means. And I don't get it.
Yeah, I think he was really confusing the map for the territory. And he kind of got off there a little bit when he said, yeah, it's an abstraction. Well, then abstractions by definition are not reality. And so if you're going to say that God is true, or the thing we're measuring against, by definition, it can't exist in reality if it's just a concept, right? Yeah. Which is all that we really have are maps of the territory. Like you like to say, we have models. And all models are wrong, some are useful, as you said.
Exactly.
And I steal that whenever I can, because it's such a great line, especially against so many theists, because they don't have, creationism has no models. There's no model for God that we can test. Right? The models that we do we're able to test, prayer, etc., fail every time they're tested. So, yeah.
It's frustrating.